Tonight, we once again enter the world of Street Fighter without the need of a controller or a quarter. And if you enjoy this cozy story, please don't forget to land a critical hit on the like button, or make it a combo and ring the bell as well. It helps others find the channel and become weary dreamers. And please, let me know in the comments who your favorite character is. I'd love to know. But for now, get as comfortable as Dalsim in the lotus position and enjoy tonight's journey into the brutal world of Street Fighter. The late afternoon sun cast long shadows across Metro City University's campus as Kimberly Jackson completed her 15th handstand push-up. Sweat beaded on her forehead, but her breathing remained controlled, a testament to months of disciplined training. "Your form is improving," came a calm voice from behind her. Kim lowered herself gracefully to her feet and turned to face her mentor. Guy stood with perfect posture, his arms crossed over his traditional ninja garb. "Thanks, Master Guy." Kim grabbed her water bottle from her backpack and took a swig. "I've been working on controlling my descent." He nodded, his expression serious, but not unkind. "A true ninja finds balance in all aspects of movement. You're progressing well, but remember, patience is as important as power." Kim finished with a grin. "I know. I'm trying." Her phone buzzed in her pocket. Kim checked it and saw a number she hadn't seen in over a year. Her smile faded. "Is something wrong?" Guy asked, noticing the change in her demeanor. "No, it's..." Kim hesitated. "Just a former friend. I should take this." Guy studied her face. "The past has lessons for us, but we must be careful not to be pulled back into old mistakes." "I know. I'll be fine," Kim assured him, though uncertainty crept into her voice. "See you at training tomorrow." After Guy departed with a nod, Kim stared at the still buzzing phone. With a deep breath, she answered. "Max, is that you?" "Kim." The voice on the other end was breathless, frightened. "I need your help, please." Kim's stomach tightened. Maxine Torres had been her closest friend growing up, the one person who understood what it meant to find family in all the wrong places. While Kim had found her way out of the Mad Gear gang and into college, Max had doubled down, seeking validation in the only community she'd ever known. "What's wrong? Are you okay?" "Not really." Max's voice dropped to a whisper. "Things are bad, Kim. There's this new crew in town led by someone called Viper, ex-military or something. They've been hitting Mad Gear territories all week." Kim closed her eyes. "And you're calling me because I did something stupid?" The fear in Max's voice was palpable. "I told Thrasher I'd spy on Viper's operation, get inside, find out their plans. I thought he'd finally see my worth, you know. But I'm way over my head. These people aren't like us, Kim. They're professionals." "Max," Kim sighed, frustration and concern battling within her. "I know what you're thinking," Max interrupted. "I know you got out, made something of yourself. I'm happy for you, really. But I need someone I can trust, someone with skills. Just this once, then I swear I'll reconsider everything." Kim felt the weight of her past pressing down on her shoulders. She'd promised herself never to return to that life. The violence, the fear, the constant looking over her shoulder. Yet Max had been there for her during the darkest times of her childhood. "Where are you now?" Kim asked, already knowing she'd regret this decision. "The old spot, you remember? Under the bridge by 9th. "I'll be there in an hour," Kim said. "But Maxine, after this, we're having a serious talk about your life choices." "Deal." And Kim, "Thanks." The call ended, leaving Kimberly staring at her reflection in the darkened phone screen. She'd worked so hard to leave that world behind, the criminal underworld of Metro City, where she'd spent her teenage years. Now, she was willingly stepping back into it. With resigned determination, Kim packed her gear and headed to her small apartment off campus. She changed quickly, replacing her university workout clothes with a fitted black top and cargo pants. She filled her pockets with small cans of spray paint, accessories for her unique fighting style. As Kimberly saw her reflection in the mirror, the face staring back seemed to belong to someone else, a shadow from her past. "Just this once," she whispered to herself. "For Max." The journey to the Mad Gear territory took her through increasingly familiar streets. The neon signs grew brighter, the music from clubs louder, and the looks from passers-by more suspicious. Kim moved with purpose, keeping her head down, but her senses alert. The meeting spot under the 9th Street Bridge hadn't changed. Still a concrete jungle of pillars and shadows, decorated with faded graffiti tags marking Mad Gear territory. She spotted Max immediately, pacing nervously between two concrete supports. "Kim." Max rushed forward when she saw her friend. Despite the circumstances, there was genuine joy in her embrace. "I can't believe you actually came." Kim stepped back to look at her old friend. Max had changed. Her once short hair now hung in long braids, and new tattoos climbed up her neck. But her eyes still held the same uncertainty Kim remembered, that desperate need for approval. "Of course I came," Kim said. "But I meant what I said on the phone. After this, whatever this is, we're talking about getting you out." Max's smile faltered. "Let's just focus on the now, okay? I need to show you what we're up against." She led Kim deeper under the bridge to a makeshift planning area hidden from street view. Maps and photographs were taped to the concrete wall, illuminated by battery-powered lanterns. "Viper showed up about 3 weeks ago," Max explained, pointing to a blurry surveillance photo of a tall woman with a fiery mane of red hair. "At first, we thought she was just another small-timer trying to carve out territory. Then this happened." She pulled up a video on her phone. The shaky footage showed a confrontation between Mad Gear members and Viper's crew at a warehouse. What caught Kim's attention wasn't the standard street violence. It was Viper herself, moving with military precision, lifting a Mad Gear enforcer twice her size and throwing him clear across the room. "Holy shit," Kim gasped. "Exactly. Word is she was part of some experimental military program. Got enhanced somehow. She's building an operation here and she's not interested in the usual territorial negotiations. She wants Mad Gear gone." Kim frowned. "Why does Thrasher think sending you in is a good idea? You're not trained for infiltration." Max looked away. "He didn't exactly send me. I volunteered. Thought it would prove something." "To him? Or to yourself?" Kim asked. Before Max could respond, the sound of approaching motorcycles cut through the night. Max tensed. That's them, the Mad Gear Patrol. They don't know I called you. She looked nervously at Kim. Thrasher's with them. Kim took a deep breath. Well, no time like the present for a reunion. 3 motorcycles pulled up nearby, engines growling before cutting to silence. 5 figures approached, their silhouettes recognizable even in the dim light. At their center walked Thrasher, tall, muscular, with long blonde hair styled in dreads. His face was set in a permanent scowl that only deepened when he spotted Kim. Well, well, he drawled, stopping a few paces away. Look who decided to crawl back after playing college girl. What's the matter? Ninja training not working out for you? Kim held her ground, meeting his gaze directly. Nice to see you too, Thrasher. Max called me. Thought you might need someone with actual skills for a change. Thrasher's eyes narrowed dangerously. We don't need traitors in our midst. You walked away, remember? Left your family behind for what? Books and tests? I left for a real future, Kim corrected him. And it's working out great. Thanks for asking. The tension hung thick in the air as the other Mad Gear members circled them. Kim recognized them all. Razor, pike, dagger, and steel, each named for their weapon of choice. They'd once been her comrades, people she'd fought beside and protected. Now they looked at her with suspicion and resentment. Max stepped between them. Thrasher, I asked her to come. We need help with Viper. Kim's trained in stealth now. She can get in and out of places we can't. Thrasher spat on the ground. And why should we trust her? She abandoned us. Because I'm not here for you, Kim said flatly. I'm here for Max. After we deal with your Viper problem, she and I are out. For good. A tense silence followed, broken only by the distant sounds of the city and the occasional passing car overhead. Finally, Thrasher laughed. A harsh, humorless sound. Always the savior, aren't you, Kimberly? Fine. You want to help? Prove it. Rumor is Viper's crew is hitting our south side territory tonight. You come with us, show us these fancy ninja skills, and maybe, just maybe, I'll consider taking you back. Kim glanced at Max, who nodded encouragingly. Fine, she agreed. One night, but I'm not here to rejoin Mad Gear. I'm here to help Max, then I'm gone. Thrasher smirked. We'll see about that. Once Mad Gear, always Mad Gear. You can pretend all you want, college girl, but you're still one of us deep down. As they moved toward the motorcycles, Max fell in step beside Kim. Thanks for this, she whispered. I know it's not easy coming back. Kim watched Thrasher mounting his bike, barking orders at the others. Just remember our deal. After this, we talk about your future. A real future. Max's smile didn't quite reach her eyes. Sure thing. After this. As they rode through the neon-streaked streets of Metro City, Kim felt the familiar rush of adrenaline. Part of her, a part she'd tried to bury under textbooks and training manuals, remembered the thrill of this life. But another part, the one that had grown under Guy's tutelage, recognized the hollow promise of that excitement. She was back in her old world, but she wasn't the same person who had left it. As they sped toward whatever confrontation awaited them, Kim made a silent promise to herself. She would help Max, but she wouldn't lose herself in the process. Not again. Not ever. The south side territory of the Mad Gear centered around an abandoned community center, once a place for neighborhood kids to stay off the streets, now, ironically, a headquarters for the very gang life it had tried to prevent. As they approached, Kim noticed the unusual stillness in the air. Normally, Mad Gear territory buzzed with activity, lookouts, dealers, and enforcers maintaining their presence. Tonight, silence reigned. "Something's wrong," Kim murmured as they parked their bikes a block away. Thrasher nodded, for once in agreement. "Too quiet. Raven's crew should be on patrol." They moved cautiously toward the community center, spreading out in practiced formation. Despite herself, Kim fell into old habits, taking the flank position she'd always preferred. The rusted chain-link fence surrounding the property had been cut, the edges still gleaming from a fresh break. "Recent," Kim whispered, examining the cut. "Professional work, too." Thrasher signaled the group to split up. "Razor, Pike, check the perimeter. Dagger, with me through the front. Steel, cover the rear exit. Kim." He hesitated, clearly uncomfortable giving her orders. "You and Max check the roof access." Kim nodded, guiding Max toward the fire escape. As they climbed, Kim noticed Max's nervous breathing. "You okay?" she asked quietly. Max nodded unconvincingly. "Just, it's different when it's actually happening, you know? Planning to infiltrate Viper's operation seemed brave in theory." "It's not too late to back out," Kim offered. "And lose my shot at proving myself? No way." They reached the rooftop and crept toward the access door. Kim tested it, unlocked. Her instincts screamed danger. "This isn't right," she whispered. "Stay behind me." Kim eased the door open and peered into the darkened stairwell. Nothing moved in the shadows, but Kim's training under Guy had sharpened her senses. She could feel the disturbance in the air, the subtle wrongness that indicated an ambush. She pulled back just as the first dart whistled through the space where her head had been. "Down!" Kim yelled, tackling Max to the rooftop as more darts flew overhead. From below came the sounds of chaos, shouts, gunfire, the crash of breaking glass. Viper's crew hadn't been coming for the south side territory. They'd been waiting for the Mad Gear leadership to arrive. "It's a trap," Kim hissed, pulling Max toward the edge of the roof. "They knew we were coming." Before they could reach the fire escape, the access door burst open. 3 figures emerged, combat-trained professionals in tactical gear with Viper's emblem, a stylized snake, emblazoned on their shoulders. They moved with military precision, nothing like the street fighters Kim was used to facing. "Well, this complicates things," she muttered, positioning herself between the attackers and Max. One lunged with a baton. Kim sidestepped, grabbed his wrist, and redirected his momentum, sending him sprawling. The second came at her with a knife. She ducked under his swing, came up inside his guard, and delivered 3 rapid strikes to several pressure points. He staggered back, momentarily paralyzed. The third attacker paused, reassessing the threat. Kimberly used the moment to reach into her pocket and pull out a small spray paint can. "Seriously?" Max hissed from behind her. "Now's not the time for graffiti." The attacker charged. Kim waited until the last moment, then sprayed a cloud of neon pink paint directly into his face. As he reeled back, temporarily blinded, Kim followed with a spinning kick that sent him crashing to the ground. "It's not graffiti," she said, turning to check on Max. "It's ninjutsu improvisation." The first attacker was regaining his feet. Kim moved to engage him again, But Max stepped forward unexpectedly, swinging a piece of broken pipe she'd found on the roof. Her form was sloppy but effective, catching the man across the shoulder. He grunted in pain and retreated toward the access door. "Not bad," Kim acknowledged, "but we need to move. Now." They hurried down the fire escape as more of Viper's crew emerged onto the roof. Below, the parking lot had become a battleground. Thrasher and the others were fighting a losing battle against superior numbers and training. Viper's people moved like a coordinated unit rather than individual fighters. "We need to help them," Max insisted, eyes fixed on the melee. Kim assessed the situation with the tactical awareness Guy had helped her develop. "Direct confrontation won't work. We need to change the battlefield." She pointed to a nearby electrical box. "Cover me." While Max kept watch, Kimberly worked quickly, using her spray paint in a way her old Mad Gear companions would never have imagined. The specialized paint, a conductive formula she'd developed herself, created a circuit between the electrical box and a puddle where several of Viper's crew were standing. "Fire in the hole," Kim warned, then triggered the connection with a small spark tool from her pocket. Electricity arced through the puddle. Viper's crew jumped back in shock, creating the distraction the Mad Gears needed. "Fall back," Thrasher ordered as Kim and Max rejoined them. "This isn't our night." They retreated under covering fire from Pike and Razor, mounting their bikes and roaring away from the community center. Kim glanced back to see Viper's crew regrouping rather than pursuing, another indication of their professional discipline. They didn't stop until they reached an old auto shop 10 blocks away. Another Mad Gear safe house. Inside, tension and anger filled the air. Thrasher paced furiously while the others tended to minor wounds. "How did they know?" he demanded of no one in particular. "How were they waiting for us?" "Someone talked," Dagger suggested, glaring pointedly at Kim. Kim crossed her arms. "I've been gone for a year. How exactly would I have tipped them off?" "She's right," Max interjected. "Kim just got here. She couldn't have known about tonight's patrol." Thrasher stopped pacing and fixed his gaze on Kim. "Those moves on the roof, that wasn't street fighting." "No," Kim agreed. "It's ninjutsu, adapted for urban combat." Before Thrasher could question her further, Steel burst through the back door. "We got trouble. Viper's crew tracked us. They're 3 blocks out and closing." "How is that possible?" Razor demanded. "We took the long way, doubled back twice." "Trackers," Kim realized. "Check your bikes, your clothes." They scrambled to inspect their gear. Max found it. A tiny magnetic tracker hidden under the frame of Thrasher's motorcycle. "Professional work," Kim noted, examining the device. "Military grade." Thrasher crushed it under his boot. "Doesn't matter now. They're already on their way. We need to either run or fight." "Or," Kim suggested, "we set a trap of our own." All eyes turned to her. Despite their mistrust, the Mad Gears recognized the value of Kim's training and tactical thinking now. "What did you have in mind, college girl?" Thrasher asked, his tone less antagonistic than before. Kim quickly outlined a plan, using the auto shop's layout to their advantage. The Mad Gears might lack the military training of Viper's crew, but they know these streets. Home turf advantage could level the playing field. They worked quickly, positioning themselves throughout the shop. Kim directed Max to hide in the office with a clear exit path. "I should be fighting with you," Max protested. "You're not trained for this," Kim replied firmly. and I need someone to call for backup if things go south." "Backup? Who would we call? The cops?" Max scoffed. Kim pressed a piece of paper into Max's hand. "This number. If we fail, call it. Ask for Guy. Tell him I sent you." Max's eyes widened. "Your sensei? Would he even help us?" "He'd help me," Kim said simply. "Now stay hidden until this is over." Minutes later, Viper's crew arrived. A swarm of operatives in tactical gear surrounding the building. Kimberly watched from the shadows as they coordinated their approach with hand signals. Their professionalism only confirmed her suspicions about Viper's military background. The fight erupted with choreographed chaos. The Mad Gears sprung their trap, using the familiar environment to separate Viper's crew. Kim moved like a shadow through the garage, using her spray paint techniques to blind, distract, and disorient the attackers before striking with precise moves. In the midst of the melee, Kim spotted a figure different from the others, taller, more commanding, with crimson hair visible beneath a tactical cap. Viper herself had joined the assault. Kim changed direction, moving to intercept the leader. If they could capture Viper, perhaps this conflict could end before it escalated further. But as she approached, Viper turned, almost as if sensing her presence, and Kim got her first clear look at the woman. Her eyes were unnaturally bright, almost luminescent in the dim light of the garage. Her movements were too fluid, too fast for a normal human. Whatever enhancements she'd received went beyond mere training. "Well," Viper said, her voice cold and precise, "you must be the ninja I've heard about. Kimberly, isn't it? The one who got away from Mad Gear." Kim circled cautiously. "And you're the one trying to take over Metro City. Pretty ambitious for a newcomer." Viper smiled without warmth. "Not taking over. Cleansing. This city needs order, structure. The Mad Gears are chaotic, undisciplined." "And you're the one to bring discipline?" Kim asked skeptically. "I was made for it." Viper moved suddenly, covering the distance between them faster than Kim could react. The blow caught her in the ribs, sending her flying back into a tool rack. She rolled with the impact, coming up in a defensive stance, but Viper was already pressing the attack. Kim adapted quickly, using her agility against Viper's raw power. She couldn't match the enhanced woman's strength, but she could outmaneuver her. Kim leapt onto a workbench, then to a hanging engine block, using the environment as both shield and weapon. Their battle moved through the garage while the larger fight raged around them. Kim caught glimpses of the Mad Gears holding their own, but Viper's crew was gradually gaining the upper hand. In a moment of distraction, Viper landed a solid hit that sent Kim crashing into a stack of tires. As she struggled to regain her footing, Viper approached with confident steps. "Impressive skills," the fiery-tressed woman acknowledged. "You'd have made an excellent recruit in my program." "Too bad," Kim gasped, buying time as she reached for her last can of spray paint. Viper moved in for the finishing blow. Kim waited until the last possible moment, then released a cloud of specialized paint, not aimed at Viper's eyes, but at the ground between them. The chemical reaction created a momentary smokescreen, allowing Kim to slip past Viper's guard and deliver a series of strikes to nerve clusters in her torso. Viper staggered, momentarily slowed, but recovered far faster than a normal human should have. She grabbed Kim's arm in a grip like steel. Clever, Viper acknowledged, but not enough. Before she could counter, a cry from across the garage caught both their attention. Max had emerged from hiding and was being dragged toward a van by two of Viper's operatives. "Max!" Kim gasped, struggling against the enhanced grip of her captor. Something changed in Viper's expression, a calculating look replacing the cold efficiency. "Ah, so that's your weakness." She pressed a communication device to her ear. "Secure the girl. We're leaving." With unexpected speed, Viper struck her with a blow that left her gasping on the floor. By the time Kimberly recovered, Viper was already retreating with her forces. Through the garage doors, she saw Max being forced into a black van. Kimberly ran toward the exit, but Razor and Pike held her back. "They're too many," Razor warned. "We're outnumbered and outgunned." The van peeled away, followed by the rest of Viper's vehicles. In seconds, they were gone, leaving the mad gears licking their wounds. Thrasher emerged from behind a toppled shelving unit, blood running from a cut above his eye. Well, that could have gone better. "They took Max," Kim said, shaking off her shock. "We need to go after them." "With what?" Thrasher demanded. "Half my crew is down. We're outmatched, and we don't even know where they're going." "I might," Kim said, pulling out her phone. "Max was wearing the jacket I gave her last Christmas. I sewed a tracker into it. Not military grade, just a simple phone locator for emergencies." Thrasher raised an eyebrow. "You put a tracker on your friend? That's cold." "I put a tracker on someone I care about who keeps finding trouble," Kim corrected him, activating the app. They're heading toward the abandoned subway station." The remaining Mad Gear members gathered around, their earlier hostility toward Kim replaced by a grudging respect after seeing her fight. "So what's the plan?" Steele asked. "We can't just rush in." Kim paused, considering options. This wasn't just about helping Max anymore. It was about stopping Viper before her operation took root in Metro City. Whatever enhancements the woman had undergone made her more dangerous than the typical gang leader. "We need intel," Kim decided. "Floor plans, guard rotations, entry points. And we need to understand what we're dealing with. Viper isn't just some enhanced super soldier. She's smart, strategic." "I know someone who can get us the subway plans," Dagger offered. "City worker who owes me a favor." "Good," Kim nodded. "And I need to make a call." She stepped away from the group, dialing a number she'd memorized but rarely used. After 3 rings, a familiar voice answered. "Kim? Is everything all right?" "No, Master Guy," she admitted. "I'm in trouble, and I need your help. It's about Viper." There was a pause on the line. "I know that name. Former military, enhanced abilities. She's dangerous, Kim." "I know. I just fought her. She's taken my friend, and I'm going to get her back." Another pause. "This isn't your path anymore, Kim. You left that life behind." "I'm not going back to it," she insisted. "But I won't abandon someone who needs me. Isn't that what you taught me? To use my skills to protect others?" Guy sighed. "Come to the dojo. Bring whatever information you have. We'll discuss options." "Thank you, Sensei." Kim ended the call and turned back to the Mad Gears. "I have to go meet a source who might help us. I'll be back soon. We'll move at midnight. Be ready." As the Mad Gears dispersed to gather resources and treat their wounded, Kim stared at the tracker on her phone. Guy's dojo stood as an island of tranquility amid Metro City's chaos. A converted warehouse with clean lines and minimal decoration. Inside, the polished wooden floors and traditional training equipment reflected Guy's philosophy. Focus on essentials, eliminate distractions. Kim knelt across from her master, spreading building plans across the floor between them. The abandoned Metro East station has 3 main levels, she explained, pointing to the blueprints. Street level with the old ticket booths, platform level where the trains used to arrive, and maintenance level below that. Based on increased power usage the past few weeks, they're primarily operating from the maintenance level. Guy studied the plans with practiced precision. Multiple access points, but limited escape routes. Defensible, but also a potential trap for the occupants. That's why Viper chose it, Kim reasoned. She's military. She thinks in terms of strategic positions, defensible territory, and vital infrastructure, Guy added. The maintenance level connects to active power junctions for Metro City. Control those, and you control much of the city's power grid. Kim hadn't considered that angle. This isn't just about eliminating Mad Gear. She's positioning for something bigger. Indeed. Guy rolled up the blueprints. Viper was part of a classified military program developing enhanced soldiers. The program was shut down after ethical concerns, but several subjects disappeared with experimental technology. Kim's eyes narrowed. So we're dealing with enhanced strength, speed, possibly other abilities, and trained operatives with military tactics. Correct, Guy confirmed. A direct assault would be unwise. But we can't just leave Max there, Kim insisted. I did not suggest abandonment, he clarified. I suggested wisdom. You cannot match Viper's strength, but you need not do so to achieve victory. Kim understood. Throughout her training, Guy had emphasized using an opponent's strengths against them. Viper's military precision might actually be a weakness. She would expect conventional attacks, standard tactics. We need to be unpredictable, Kim said, a plan forming in her mind. Hit them from angles they won't expect, using methods they can't counter. Guy nodded approvingly. You have learned well. Remember, the straightest path is not always the wisest. With renewed purpose, Kim returned to the Mad Gear safe house, where Thrasher and the others waited. The garage had been cleaned up, weapons and equipment laid out in preparation. Despite their usual chaos, the gang could organize when necessary. Kim shared what she'd learned from Guy, along with her developing plan. To her surprise, Thrasher listened without interruption, even nodding at several points. It's solid, he admitted when she finished. Risky, but solid. One thing bothers me, though. Why did Viper take Max specifically? She had a shot at capturing me, the actual leader. I've been wondering that too, Kim admitted. Unless... A cold realization washed over her. She turned to Thrasher. When did Max volunteer for the intelligence mission on Viper? 3 days ago, Thrasher answered. Right after our west side territory got hit. And who knew about tonight's patrol to the community center? Thrasher's jaw tightened. Just the inner circle. Me, these guys, and... He trailed off. And Max, Kim finished grimly. She's been feeding Viper information. The garage erupted in angry shouts and accusations. Thrasher's face darkened with rage. That little bitch. I'll kill her myself when we find her. Wait, Kim raised her hands. We don't know the full story. Maybe Viper threatened her or something. Or maybe she just sold us out, Pike spat. Wouldn't be the first time someone turned on Mad Gear for a better offer. Kim shook her head. Not Max. She worships Mad Gear. Worships you, Thrasher. She's been desperate for your approval for years. There's more to this. Only one way to find out, he growled. We stick to the plan. But when we find her, she better have one hell of an explanation. The plan was set. The gang would create a diversion at the main entrance. Loud, obvious, drawing attention and resources. Meanwhile, Kim would infiltrate through a maintenance tunnel. Before departing, Kimberly made final preparations in a corner of the garage. She laid out her spray paint cans. Not just standard colors, but specialized formulas she'd developed. Conductive paint, quick hardening variants, even one that burned with a bright flash when ignited. Impressive chemistry, came Thrasher's voice from behind her. Never figured you for a science geek. She continued working without looking up. There's a lot you never figured about me. That was part of the problem. Thrasher was silent for a moment. You know, when you left, I told everyone you'd be back within a month. Said the straight life would bore you to tears. Sorry to disappoint. Kim packed the cans into her belt pouches. That's just it. You didn't. Something in Thrasher's tone made Kim finally look up. His usual arrogance had faded, replaced by something almost like respect. You actually did it. Got out, made something of yourself, started over. Kim stood, facing her former leader directly. It wasn't starting over. It was finally starting to live. Yeah, well. Thrasher looked away, uncomfortable with the sincerity of the moment. Just make sure you get Max out of there. Whatever she did, she deserves a chance to explain. That's surprisingly understanding of you, Kim noted. Thrasher shrugged. Maybe your goody two-shoes act is rubbing off on me. He checked his watch. Time to move. Try not to die, college girl. You too, Thrasher. The night embraced Kim as she moved through the shadows toward the abandoned subway station. Above ground, the station looked derelict. Broken windows, graffiti-covered walls, chain-link fencing warning of danger. But subtle signs revealed its current occupation. Fresh cuts in the fence, newly installed security cameras disguised as broken fixtures, faint light bleeding through covered windows. She circled the block, counting guards, 2 visible, likely more hidden. She waited until Thrasher's diversion began, a cacophony of motorcycle engines, shouted challenges, and gunfire at the main entrance. As predicted, guards rushed toward the commotion, leaving secondary entrances vulnerable. The maintenance tunnel entrance lay hidden behind a rusted utility box. Kim slipped inside, descending into darkness lit only by the occasional emergency light. The air grew thick with dust and the metallic scent of the subway system. The tunnel opened into a junction of larger maintenance corridors. Kim paused, listening. Voices echoed from the left. 2 guards complaining about being left behind, while others responded to the disturbance above. Probably just those Mad Gear idiots making noise, one said. Still, orders are to check everything. You take the north tunnel, I'll check the junction, the other replied. Kim pressed herself into a shadowed alcove as footsteps approached. A guard in tactical gear rounded the corner, flashlight sweeping across the walls. She waited until he passed, then struck, one hand covering his mouth, the other delivering a precise blow to his neck. He collapsed silently, unconscious, before he hit the ground. Kim hid the body and continued toward the central maintenance area. According to the plans, it should connect directly to the lower level of the station where Viper had established her headquarters. As she approached, voices grew louder, not just guards, but what sounded like a heated argument. She crept closer, positioning herself above a grated catwalk that overlooked a large chamber filled with equipment. Below, Viper stood facing Max, who was not bound as Kim had expected, but standing freely, arms crossed defensively. "You promised they wouldn't be hurt," Max was saying, her voice echoing in the chamber. "Just scared off, not attacked." Viper's cold laugh raised goosebumps on Kim's arms. "Don't be naive," she replied. "Criminal organizations don't respond to gentle nudges. They understand only force. But the deal was, I help you push Madgear out of key territories, and you help me take control of what remains," Maxine insisted. "Not this." "Plans evolve," Viper said dismissively. "Metro City has potential beyond harboring street gangs. The power infrastructure alone makes it valuable to my employers." "Employers?" Max took a step back. "You said you were independent." "Another necessary deception." Viper turned to a computer console, bringing up a map of Metro City with key points highlighted. Phase 1 was eliminating competition. Phase 2 is infrastructure control. Your Madgear connections were useful, but now I need different assets. Kim leaned forward, trying to hear more clearly. A metal tool from her belt shifted, striking the grate with a faint ting. Below, Viper's head snapped up, enhanced senses detecting the subtle sound. "We have company," she announced, nodding to her guards. "Find them." Kimberly cursed silently and retreated as guards rushed to search the catwalks. She needed to move quickly now, both to avoid capture and to reach Max, whose situation was clearly more complicated than simple betrayal. Using the confusion of the search, Kim crept to a different access point. The guards expected her to retreat, not advance deeper into their territory. She used this assumption to her advantage. Kimberly circled back in the main chamber, where Max now sat alone. She seized the opportunity, dropping silently from a ventilation duct. "Kim," Max gasped, jumping to her feet. "What are you doing here?" "Rescuing you," she replied tersely. "Though it seems you've gotten yourself into something bigger than I realized." Shame flashed across Max's face. "It's not what it looks like." "Well, it is. But I didn't mean for anyone to get hurt." "Save it." Kim cut her off. "We need to move. Explain on the way." "I can't just leave," Max protested. "Viper has leverage over me." "What kind of leverage?" Max hesitated. "My little brother. She knows where he lives, where his school is. Said it would be a shame if something happened to him." Kim's anger softened slightly. "Why didn't you tell Thrasher?" "Because I'd already started feeding Viper information before the threats came," Max admitted. I thought I could double-cross her, use her to eliminate Thrasher's rivals within Madgear, position myself higher in the ranks." "Max, I know it was stupid, but then she showed her true colors, and suddenly my brother was in danger, and I was in too deep." Tears welled in Max's eyes. I never wanted to betray the gang, and I definitely never meant to put you in danger. A commotion from above interrupted them. The mad gears had broken through, engaging Viper's forces throughout the station. The diversion had become a full frontal assault. "We need to go," Kim insisted. "What about my brother?" "One problem at a time. First, we get out of here." They moved toward the exit Kim had scouted, but as they rounded a corner, they came face to face with Viper herself, flanked by 2 guards. "Leaving so soon?" she cooed, eyes gleaming in the dim light. "After you went to such trouble to visit." Kim pushed Max behind her. "Your operation is finished, Viper. Mad Gear is tearing through your forces upstairs, and the authorities will be close behind." "Authorities?" Viper laughed. "In Metro City. The police won't come near this district, especially during a gang war. As for Mad Gear," she tapped her earpiece, "my team reports they're already being pushed back. Your rescue mission has failed, Ninja Girl." Kim assessed their options. The corridor was too narrow for effective maneuvering, and Viper's enhanced abilities made her more than a match for Kim in direct combat. She needed to change the equation. "Max," Kim whispered, "when I move, run past them. Don't stop. Don't look back. But just do it." Kim reached slowly for her belt, extracting a spray paint can. "Trust me." Viper watched with amusement. "What will you do? Tag me to death?" "Something like that." In one fluid motion, Kim sprayed the specialized paint at the overhead pipes, simultaneously striking her spark tool against the wall. The paint ignited in a blinding flash. As Viper and her guards reeled, temporarily blinded, Kim struck, not attacking Viper directly, but targeting the steam pipes above with a powerful kick. The pipes burst, filling the corridor with scalding steam. In the chaos, Kim shoved Max past the disoriented guards. "Run!" Max hesitated only briefly before sprinting down the corridor. Kim engaged the guards, using the steam and their impaired vision to her advantage. Quick strikes to vulnerable points dropped them efficiently, but Viper recovered faster than expected, lunging through the steam with predatory speed. Kim narrowly avoided a blow that would have shattered her ribs. She countered with a series of strikes, each precisely aimed at nerve clusters, but Viper's enhanced physiology made her resistant to such tactics. "Impressive," Viper acknowledged, deflecting her attacks. "But futile. Even your training can't overcome biological enhancement." "Maybe not," Kim admitted, continuing to give ground strategically. "But it taught me something more important than strength." "And what's that?" Viper asked, pressing her advantage. "This!" Kim ducked under Viper's strike, rolled past her, and sprayed a line of conductive paint along the wet floor where water from the broken pipes had pooled. Before Viper could react, Kim completed the circuit with her spark tool. Electricity from exposed wiring in the damaged wall surged through the conductive paint and water, enveloping Viper in a stunning shock. It wouldn't stop her for long, but Kim only needed enough time to escape. She sprinted down the corridor, catching up to Max at a junction. "This way." They raced through the maintenance tunnels, the sounds of combat echoing from multiple directions. Mad Gear and Viper's forces were engaged throughout the complex, creating chaos that worked to their advantage. As they ascended toward the surface, a familiar figure appeared ahead. Thrasher, sporting fresh cuts and a murderous expression. "You!" he snarled, focusing on Max. "Traitor!" "Thrasher, wait," Kim started. "She sold us out," he spat. "Led us into an ambush." "She was threatened," Kim explained quickly. "Viper has leverage on her family." Thrasher's expression didn't soften. "Doesn't matter. Mad Gear Code is clear on betrayal." "This isn't the time," Kim insisted, hearing pursuit behind them. "Viper's right behind us." Thrasher glanced past them, then made a decision. "We'll deal with this later. This way. The others are holding an exit route." They followed Thrasher through the winding corridors, eventually emerging into the main station where Mad Gear members were engaged in a fighting retreat. The battle had clearly turned against them. Viper's forces were too well trained, too well equipped. "Fall back," Thrasher ordered as they reached the group. "We're leaving." The Mad Gears began a coordinated withdrawal, covering each other as they retreated toward the street exit. Kim helped a wounded Razor while Max supported Pike, whose arm was clearly broken. They had almost reached the exit when Viper emerged from a side corridor, moving with enhanced speed to cut off their escape. Behind her came a squad of her best fighters, weapons raised. "End of the line," she announced. "You've caused enough trouble for one night." Thrasher stepped forward, positioning himself between Viper and his crew. "Take another step, and I'll put you down myself." "Brave words from a street thug," Viper scoffed, but ultimately meaningless. What happened next unfolded with shocking speed. Viper moved, faster than ordinary eyes could track, closing the distance to Thrasher. But instead of engaging him, she pivoted at the last moment, targeting the wounded Pike and Razor. In that crucial moment, Thrasher made a choice that confirmed everything Kim had suspected about him. Rather than defending his people, he used the distraction to break for the exit, abandoning his wounded followers without hesitation. "Thrasher!" Max cried out in disbelief. Kim had no time to process the betrayal. Viper was carving through the remaining Mad Gears with terrifying efficiency. Without thinking, Kim shoved Max toward the exit. "Go! Get out while you can!" "Not without you," Max refused, picking up a fallen pipe for a weapon. Together, they faced Viper as the last Mad Gears either escaped or fell. Kim knew they couldn't win, not against Viper and her remaining forces, but they might create enough time for the others to escape. As Viper approached, confident in her victory, a new sound cut through the chaos. Police sirens growing louder. Viper paused, reassessing. Impossible. The police never respond to this district. They do when they receive a tip about military-grade weapons and power grid sabotage. Came a calm voice from the shadows. Guy stepped into view, his presence commanding immediate attention. Anonymous tips from credible sources tend to motivate even Metro City's finest. "Master Guy," Kim acknowledged with relief. Viper's eyes narrowed. "The Bushin Ryu, Master. Your reputation precedes you." "As does yours, Lieutenant Viper," Guy replied evenly. "Your experimental program was shut down for good reason. Your enhancements were deemed too unstable, your methods too extreme." Sirens grew louder, joined by the distinctive sound of helicopters. Viper glanced toward her remaining forces, clearly calculating odds. "This isn't over," she promised. "Metro City is just the beginning." "Perhaps," Guy agreed, "but not today." With a signal to her team, Viper retreated toward a secondary exit, disappearing into the subway tunnels as police stormed the main entrance. "We need to go," Guy urged. "Now!" He led them through a service passage unknown to both police and Viper's forces, emerging several blocks away, where the sounds of the raid were distant echoes. The night air felt impossibly fresh after the stale tunnels of the subway station. Max collapsed against a wall, the adrenaline finally wearing off. "He left us," she whispered. "Thrasher just left everyone behind." Kim sat beside her friend. "Are you really surprised?" "I shouldn't be," Max admitted. "I've seen him do it before to others. I just thought I was different, special to the gang." "The gang isn't family," Kim said gently, "no matter how much we wanted it to be." Guy stood a respectful distance away, giving them space while keeping watch. In the distance, more sirens joined the first responders as Metro City's authorities descended on Viper's operation. "What about my brother?" Max asked suddenly. "If Viper escapes, she won't be focusing on personal vendettas," Guy interjected. "Her operation is compromised. She'll be concerned with extraction and salvaging what resources she can." "Even so," Kim added, "we'll make sure he's safe." She looked to Guy, who nodded confirmation. "I can arrange protection," he assured them. Discreet but effective. Max looked between them, then back to the city skyline, where flashing lights illuminated the night. "What happens now? I can't go back to Mad Gear, not after Thrasher saw me with you." "Now," Kim said, taking her friend's hand, "you do what I did. Start living." "Just like that?" Max sounded skeptical. "I don't have your skills, your discipline." "You have something more important," Kim countered. "You have the chance to choose differently. And this time, you won't be doing it alone." As dawn broke over Metro City, casting long shadows and golden light across the urban landscape, Kim, Max, and Guy sat in a small cafe, far from the previous night's chaos. The morning news played on a television in the corner, reporting on a major police operation that had uncovered an organized criminal enterprise targeting city infrastructure. No mention of Viper's enhancements or true agenda. Some secrets remained buried. "The community college has late registration for another week," Kim mentioned casually, sliding a brochure across the table. "They have a good graphic design program. You always had an eye for art." Max stared at the brochure, then at Kim. "You really think I could do this?" "I know you can," Kim replied with conviction. "It's not easy, and there are days you'll want to go back to what's familiar. But trust me, what's waiting on the other side is worth it." Guy, who had been quietly sipping tea, spoke up. "The path of transformation is never straight or simple, but the first step is the most important." Max took a deep breath and picked up the brochure. "One condition." "What's that?" Kim asked. A smile, perhaps the first genuine one Kim had seen in years, crossed Max's face. "You have to help me with math. I always sucked at it." Kim laughed, relief and hope washing over her. "Deal." As they left the cafe, stepping into the morning light, the city seemed different somehow. Not transformed, still rough around the edges, but holding possibilities that hadn't been visible before. Max paused, looking back toward the distant shape of the subway station, where everything had changed. she asked quietly. Kim considered the question. Probably. People like her don't give up easily. And when she does? Kim exchanged a glance with Guy, who gave an almost imperceptible nod of approval. We'll be ready. But until then, we've got classes to register for, apartments to find, and a future to build. Max nodded, turning away from the past and toward the path ahead. One day at a time. One day at a time, Kim agreed, as they walked together into the brightness of a new beginning.